and ownership and Rogers, having a bigger influence and ownership stake in the team. And so I do think things are shifting a little bit, but I don't know if that's something we'll see or feel in this game. To be honest, I'm most wondering, what's the vibe going to be like in the rink? Is everyone going to be watching a baseball game on their phone? If the Jays, hopefully Vladdy hits another big home run early in the game, are people going to react to that? It might be kind of a strange home opener just because there's such a big baseball game going on at the same time. But, it's definitely the start of a new era. I can even say the little bit I've been around Leafs camp that there's been, I would say, a little more access granted to the reporters. I think that's something Keith Pelly, if you remember, talked about in May. But it seems like they're extending an olive branch. I'm not getting that on Brendan Shanahan. It wasn't his job to do those types of things. But certainly, there's big changes behind the scenes with the organization, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see some of those things manifest themselves in things that we can see or get a sense of, at least in the role I have here.
All right. Well, night 2 of the NHL. It's gonna be a blockbuster this evening, man. You got Leafs Habs, Battle of Alberta. You got Mitch Marner making his debut in Vegas tonight. It's gonna be awesome. All right, boys, we'll let you get back at it. Thank you for doing this as always.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See you guys.
The Insiders, Chris Johnston, Darren Dreger joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Get in and go where adventures take you in a new 2025 Tacoma for Maple Tacoma or Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland and the Maple Auto Mall. Visit mapletoyota.com.
Yeah, Keith Pelly was like, Carlton, I don't want you to come out there. I don't want you to bang the drum. I don't want the flag.
I don't know.
Totally different game ops.
You're being facetious, but Andy Frost was the voice of that rink forever until Shanahan showed up.
That's right.
And Shanahan decided he won't be anymore.
Yeah.
So that was one thing.
The anthem singer, Shanny, was all over.
The anthem singer was different. What the goal song was. Shanahan was involved in all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So someone's got to be involved in that stuff. And I don't know what Keith Pelly's going to do there. I mean, Keith's a showman, like you said, Dave. Like, Keith it's the entertainment business, and they're trying to win, and I don't expect it to be crazy different. I don't think it has to be crazy different. But
no, but Keith's talking about, more fan access. They're trying to give away tickets to the fans that don't get in the building on a regular basis. They're trying to make it more approachable. Now, that's not easy, given the Bay Street crowd and how they've jacked the prices, and people pay it, and that's the free market. But that's the spirit behind it, at least right now. That's what Keith is telling people as he goes out and sort of, to your point, carnival barks and gets people hyped.
Yeah, and when we had him on at BMO Field, he was talking about what they plan on doing in terms of access, in terms of production in the background. They hired Ryan Leslie.
Access to what though? Hayes,
well, tickets for one. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to give you they're not giving away the building, but they're giving away some tickets to fans that don't normally get in the building, and they're just trying to make it. They're just trying to do some different things. Ultimately, one thing about Keith Pelly, I'll tell you this. He's when he was at the European Golf Tour, he was an innovator. They did a lot of different stuff that the PGA Tour wasn't doing in terms of giving access. They made their social media channels a priority way before a lot of the North American leagues were doing it. They were making the players more accessible to fans. That was a big push from Keith. I know that for a fact, and I think that's kind of what you're seeing here, right? You're seeing the people involved in the team are a little more at ease in the way they're communicating. Now, it's easy to do that when you haven't played a game.
You haven't played yet.
You haven't lost big games.
Yep.
But it is what it is, and I think that comes from the top.
Well, and yes, and I think that's important. I've noticed it. It's been very early in the process. Like you said, let's see what happens when they lose 5 in a row and all that kind of stuff gets tested. And again, when Shanahan got here, he did some amazing things, some incredible things with this team, including the alumni, the retirement of the jerseys, Legends Row. Fighting for an outdoor game. He did a lot of amazing things for this team. And Keith Pelly has been here. He's been here, I guess, a year and a half. Mm-hmm. But, this is going to take on his image more. And it's not just the Leafs. It's the Raptors. It's TFC, the Argos. They own a lot of teams and a lot of buildings. They run a lot of buildings. So he's a busy guy, but he is an innovative guy that's been in entertainment and sports and TV and media. He's done it all throughout his career.
What's going to be fascinating now that you guys just mentioned all the things, Hayes, is what are some of the stuff that we thought was awesome that Shanny did? What if he doesn't like them?
Well,
like
kind of like Wiki coming in, like take down
get rid of
black and
Legends
white
Row.
photos. Yeah,
Get rid of Legends Row. Get rid of it.
So there's going to be some stuff that maybe he doesn't like, and how awkward is it that it's 10 years old and now all of a sudden it's not going to be around, or you're going to get rid of stuff? That'll be weird and fascinating to follow.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and ultimately it comes down to what the team does. Like, that's obviously what fans want, and the large majority of fans in the city and the country don't go to games, or at one game a year or whatever. But I'm curious what it looks like tonight. Opening night, the ceremony. It's something. Again, the Habs have always done great. The Leafs have always fallen behind. Let's see what they have in store. Does it feel any different? It may not. And again, the Jays will be on same first pitch and puck drop is coinciding tonight. Like, it's going to be a weird evening. It's a bit unfortunate, yes, but it's a reality. All right, Confirm or Deny coming up. Best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Tell you guys one young superstar to watch and be interested in catching a little bit of that Blackhawks versus Panthers. I don't know what those Hawks are going to be up to this year, man. And Bedard, it might be another year where he's just like how many years is he going to be wanting to do that?
Well, they got outshot 17-3 in the first period.
Yeah.
And that's tough when you're a young team and the other team's old and they're missing players and they've won cups and they probably look down on you and they're like,
and I think
whatever.
they scored like 2 goals on like 5 shots, and there's no Barkov, no Kachuk, and I don't know. It was just watching it. There's some good young players there, but it's like it might be just another miserable year for Bedard and the Blackhawks, which is
it's unfortunate, but it does have an Eichel in Buffalo vibe to it.
Yeah.
That went to the wrong place. They didn't have anyone else around you. The management just isn't going to be able to figure it out. Like, Chicago went through, they obviously had that incredible run, and then everything turned over, and they went all in on Bedard. And when you do that, when you go all the way down to the woodshed, and that's effectively what they did.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough to build back up. Very tough. Buffalo's been trying to build back up for 12 years.
Yeah.
Think about those Buffalo fans watching Jack Eichel first go to Vegas and win a Stanley Cup and establish himself as just an elite two-way guy that can still score, and he just re-upped for 13 and a half.
I know.
If you're a fan of the Sabres, you're like, that was our guy. But you're just what you mentioned, Hayes, there wasn't enough around him in Buffalo either.
Well, and even if you go back and you can look at flashback lineups for the Sabres that are really good.
Yeah.
And it was Reinhart was there, and they had actually a couple of pretty good defensemen, and they had Linus Olmark in net. And
yeah, I got a lot of Sabres fans in my life, and they do that list. It's Eichel, it's O'Reilly, Ryan, all these guys that have won cups. So Poso's won, Sam Reinhart, Evan Rodriguez. They've had to your point. Mm-hmm. You look at their team at certain points, their roster was stacked with guys who became important pieces of cup teams.
Right.
In the iteration they were in Buffalo, they were a nothing team.
It didn't work.
It just didn't work, and it makes you I think this is one of the great kind of questions for team builders. Is why they had the pieces. What were they missing? What was with the culture gets thrown around, and is it coaching? Is it as simple as not enough leadership in the room because they were all too young at the time, and it took them a second team to kind of get their acts together? In some cases, that's probably true. But to your point, O-Dog, this, I don't think we're going to be looking back at this Blackhawks team and saying it was dotted with guys who became important pieces of cup champions.
No, I don't see that happening.
Obviously, I could see Bedard becoming that.
Mm-hmm. Well, year 3. He's going to hit. He's going to pop.
Yeah.
He's going to be a very, very good player.
Oh,
Great
he
player.
made some plays last night where you're like, that's legit superstar stuff. But year 3, you're looking for something a little bit different than just getting caved in. And Foligno having to fight somebody. It's how many times do you have to play that game over and over again?
It's got to be very difficult. Very difficult. And if it doesn't work in year 3, why would it magically work in year 4?
Yeah. Or 5.
Exactly. If you're a disaster in year 3, Why in year 4 or 5 will it all of a sudden just flip and you're very good? It doesn't work that way. You have to make incremental steps. You have to kind of, like, look at the Habs. The Habs kind of dropped down and fell out, and then they had Suzuki, they had Caulfield, and they picked first overall. They took Slavkovsky, and they had picked Gooley one draft, and they obviously took Hudson in the second round, but they had Montembeault who's a little bit older. Like, you go on and on and on about these different pieces where they realize we got to slot this in, and we got to get that guy, and we got to get this veteran, we got to win a trade, we got to take advantage of our cap space. Like, there were different things that put them in this position where now they've taken steps, and they're going to keep growing and growing and growing, and I think they'll keep getting better and better. But I think if you get rid of everything and you put all your eggs into the basket of one 18-year-old and nothing else is there, it's just never going to work.
It can't.
It can't.
It's not basketball.
Yeah, exactly. It can't, and that's effectively what Chicago's done. So it's tough to say you feel bad for Bedard. He still is playing in Chicago, first overall. He's going to get paid. His contract's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Because he's an RFA after this year, and you presume he stays in Chicago. But if they are horrendous and he puts up a good year, 65 points, 30 goals, what's he going to get? More than Eichel, McDavid? He'll probably ask for it. If it's an 8-year deal, he'll probably say, I want 14 or 15 million.
Well, and he'll get it. They have to. There'll literally be no choice for the Blackhawks to do that.
I guess so.
Because that's the ultimate situation where if you're his agent and he says, well, the team's asking me to take a hometown discount, you say to him immediately, do you trust this management group to spend the money that's taken away from you on something productive? You might as well have it.
Well, and there's no bridge deal. Now, maybe he looks for a bridge, but he hasn't been making the money so far.
Right.
You know, it's not a scenario, again, like McDavid's been making money for 10 years.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
Bedard
but he might
is
do
not.
the bridge, Hayes, and say it's same as McDavid. Not obviously a different marching orders, but he might say you're getting 2 more years or 3 more years to get this right, and if not, you know what's going to happen.
That
So
would
I'm
be
just
my
not doing
play.
it anymore.
That would be my suggestion to him.
Just ride it out.
Yeah, just say, let's sign a 3-year deal or whatever, 4-year that gets you to UFA status, and say this is it. Now you're gonna have to pay me a lot for the 4 years, but you got to figure this out, and we'll determine if it's going to work for me beyond that.
Yeah,
that's probably smart advice.
You'd be like, I'm prioritizing my freedom here because you guys have shown me no reason to believe that I want to stay here long term.
Yeah.
Like, where is the
They're
faith?
not.
Why would you have faith that they're about to turn it around?
Tough.
Whenever we talk about the disasters, it is a feather in the cap of the Leafs' young players for the last 10 years because from the word go, Hayes, you said it every year, they're getting 100 points and they're getting in, and they did it. They haven't had the playoff success, but they weren't that disaster where everybody was like, what the hell was wrong with these guys? Like, they were automatic 100 points.
They made the playoffs every single year. Austin Matthews has never gone home on April 15th.
No.
At any point in his career, not once. And that was lucky in some ways, but also, you know, we talked about Shanahan. Shanahan put a lot of infrastructure in place for them to have that success.
Yep.
Had Babcock, had Lou, kept the right veterans, and they got in, and then they established what it was, and they just kept growing and growing and growing. And that's very fortunate, very rare. Like Matthews, first overall pick, walked right in playoffs every single year. Pretty incredible. And he's been a big part of that, like very responsible for it. He was great his rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year. He's won Hart trophies. He's done a lot. He had running mates. Marner and Nylander arrived at the same time. Hyman showed up at the same time. Think about how good those players are. Like those four, like because you include Hyman. Hyman scored 50
I totally
in the
forgot
league.
about Hyman. How many years has he been gone already?
Well, it's been 4 or 5 now.
Time flies, but yeah, like you think about if they didn't kind of make the missteps they made, you know, like the Kadri trade, letting Hyman walk for nothing, or two that really popped to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
winning a few contract negotiations.
Well, that
would go a long
never
way.
going to happen because we can and we will was not the thing to say when you're trying to go to hardball negotiations, Mr. Dubas. But that's water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
A lot of money in many agents' pockets, but yeah, like it's. Give Shanahan credit. I'm with you, dog. Like you have to give. Like it's easy to run down Shanahan's time here because of all the heartbreak in April, for sure, and that's legitimate. Like this team is so unique in that it's been such a juggernaut in the regular season and such a disappointment in the playoffs. There's almost been nothing like it in NHL history before. before them, right?
Hayes would say every training camp, he's like, I know, or they'd struggle early and he'd be like, they're still going to get 100 points. And every time he said that, I'd be like, are they? Like, are they really? And sure enough, they did, man. They got to a hunch plus.
Yeah. It's almost,
and they were in every time.
It's almost insulting to say this, and I've said it many times, so I might as well consistently say it. They're a regular season juggernaut.
Yes, they are.
That's what they are, and they have been for 9 years. A regular season juggernaut. Now, why that's insulting is because you have to distinguish regular season from the playoffs, and it is truly unlike anything we've ever seen. And that's why when you start a new season tonight, you wonder, how is it going to be different this year? And we don't have the answers. Now, one of the core guys is left. They are a massive team. They're literally a really big team. Like, they got a lot of size on their team. I believe pound for pound, they're the largest team in the NHL. I don't know what that's worth. And I certainly don't know what it's worth during the regular season. I think it's very valuable come playoff time. But they go into a new season without Marner, without Joseph Wall. We don't know when he's going to return. A year older, probably a step slower. Like, there are reasons for optimism and there's some reasons for pessimism, maybe unlike other years in the past. Like, I'm not sure what the regular season is going to look like compared to last year, the year before, where I was very certain they were going to finish with well over 100 points and be, safely in the playoffs. This year, it may be a wild card year. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't shock me if it's 97, 98 points and they just get in, but then in the playoffs, they perform better. And Stolar stays healthy. And these veterans that they brought in and the size they brought in, and we'll see what they do at the trade deadline with some cap space to play with, actually puts them in a better position. And maybe Florida comes back a little bit this year. Because that's the thing. Like, Florida, if Florida takes a step back, and it didn't look like it last night, but Barkov's not there. Kachuk, we'll see what happens to him this year.
They're going to have to grind, man, the Florida Panthers, man. Like, they're going to have to, like they did last night, chip and grind. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be playing Chicago every night. Like, it's going to be a grind for them, too.
That's right.
A lot of the quality teams have been talking about how difficult the Atlantic is, and every night you're going to have your hands full. Like, not a bunch of layups. And we say this at the beginning of every year, Hayes, and then 15 games in, you're like, there's your layup in Detroit, there's your layup in Buffalo. But I don't know if it's going to happen this year.
It may not. And we saw that with the American League this year in baseball, where we looked around halfway through the season and said, who's the great team? Is there a great team?
There isn't.
And there wasn't. Houston wasn't